The old saying goes, when it rains, it pours. And when it comes to the stock market, 2022 proved to be raining negative turns as the SP 500 dropped. So now, no one knows exactly how far it'll go except for maybe one person. He also predicted the 2008 financial crisis. And I'm, of course, talking about Michael Burry, who correctly predicted the financial and real estate collapse of 2008 and made a huge profit himself, depicted in the movie The Big Short. It was simply the biggest economic downturn since the Great Depression that lasted from 1929 to 1939, just 20 years shy of a century between one another. The Great Recession of 2008 saw stock prices crash, housing prices plummet, and the biggest U.S. bankruptcy ever recorded due to the collapse of the Lehman Brothers, the then fourth largest investment bank in the United States. Most analysts only caught wind of the impending recession only when they were already deep in the eye of the hurricane. Now Michael Burry is at it again, but this time he's predicting what could be the biggest crash since the Great Depression of the 1920s and might even put the 2008 financial crisis to shame. Let's first start by finding out who this modern-day Nostradamus of finance is. Michael James Burry is an American investor, hedge fund manager, and physician who was able to predict the Great Recession in early 2005. Since then, Burry has also made a name for himself in the field of economics and investments, with many other people believing his analysis and predictions and backing him up. Recently, Burry has made a bold claim that the stock market, crypto market, and other assets are about to experience an epic crash of great proportions. How much water does his prediction hold? Will he successfully predict another colossal economic downturn, or will he finally be proven wrong? Before heading to his predictions for the 2022 market crash, let's first establish how Burry made a name for himself. Before and after the 2008 Great Recession, Burry initially worked as a neurology and pathology resident at Stanford Hospital. He then left to start his own hedge fund in 1996. Burry was so successful with his stock picks that the American Registered Investors Advisor, the Vanguard Group, and insurance and related financial services holding company, White Mountains Insurance Group, started following his investment choices. In November 2000, Burry started the hedge fund Scion Capital, which was widely profitable from the get-go. By the end of 2004, he was managing $600 million and turning money away to fully serve and focus on his current clientele. Then, by 2005, Burry shifted his focus to the subprime market. This is when Burry predicted that the real estate bubble was bound to collapse as early as 2007, and thanks to his analysis of the mortgage lending practices in 2003 and 2004, he concluded that some prime mortgages and the related bonds would start to lose value when their original rates were replaced by higher rates. This led Burry to short the market and instead focus on getting investment firms to sell him credit default swaps. Investors did not like Burry's decision as they did not see what Burry saw. Some even went to the extent of withdrawing their invested capital. Ultimately, however, Burry's analysis was correct, making a profit of over $800 million and making returns of 489+%, while the well-renowned S&P 500 only returns of under 3% during the same period. Burry's decision to short the market allowed him and his investors to make huge profit when almost everyone else during this time was losing money. This huge triumph will forever be etched in the world of economics, investments, and finances. Since then, Burry has reopened his hedge fund and asset management company and made quite a name for his social media accounts. His Twitter account is well known for his tweets with bold financial analysis and predictions that would often be deleted on short notice. It's in one of these tweets that Burry would eventually claim that in 2022, stocks and other investment assets will fall, and hard. To say Burry isn't hopeful about the stock market is an understatement, but what signs lead him to his conclusion? Unlike in 2008, when stock prices weren't as easy to monitor, today's age allows anything and everything to be seen, even by everyday citizens with an average income. Because of this, what Burry sees, everyone else sees, and now it isn't much of a surprise why Burry is confident in saying that a 2022 financial downfall will happen, maybe late 2022, early 2023. Burry compared the current situation to an overpacked theater and, once invested, started exiting the market. The only way out is a narrow entrance where you'll either be trampled on by others or trample on others. Burry also points out that the Federal Reserve and other central banks increasing rates to curb inflation as another factor adding to the inevitable market meltdown. This, added to global events such as the Russia-Ukraine war and continuous lockdowns in China, has increased the value of the US dollar to new record highs against other global currencies. The British pound got absolutely destroyed recently, and because of this, the Bank of England went on a £65 billion buying spree as the increasing power of the US dollar was threatening the UK's financial stability. According to Burry, unlike in 2008, where Burry was one of the very few people who saw the financial meltdown happen a mile away, signs are more obvious this time around, with many more financial analysts and investors echoing Burry's thoughts about the economic current situation. From his tweet, it's expected that this downfall is something that we may be seeing in the next few months. With ETFs falling and stock prices plummeting straight down, investors of cryptocurrency had a first-hand taste of this crash earlier this year. Across May and June of 2022, the cryptocurrency market lost approximately $1 trillion in value and may see more damage in the next coming months. While crypto is a volatile market and dips in values are expected to happen once in a while, a crash of this extent wouldn't happen without the aforementioned reasons and is reflective of what may happen in the stock market soon. Burry has made a very valid set of points in providing his stance that the market is headed down towards an old crash. But what does this market crash even mean? What does the financial bubble bursting mean to investors and non-investors alike? Not all bubble bursts are detrimental. Some asset bubble bursts have short-lived effects and only affect a specific part of the market. This results in an undesirable economic situation that affects everyone. For investors, what they could have bought for thousands of dollars a few years back may only cost $100 by the time the bubble bursts in its entirety. If the investor needs the money right away, this is going to be difficult as stock market prices don't rebound as quickly, especially following recessions. For non-investors and everyday people, a recession leads to an overall increase in price for foods and other commodities. Unemployment will take a huge hit, and even those who manage to still secure their jobs may be affected by wage decreases. This will also affect business, as all products and utilities will see an upsurge in price. So many businesses close down during the recession as raw materials and products are more expensive. Investors in these businesses will likely demand their capital to be refunded and then re-allot this money when the market is more stable. Okay, so let's talk about Burry's plans moving forward. If you've seen The Big Short, the movie ends with a puzzling line where Burry is focusing on all of his training on one commodity: water. No, this is not some kind of riddle or secret code. If you watch the movie, it'll make more sense. Burry has in fact focused trading on one sole commodity, which is water in the movie. It might be confusing to some as to leap from trading stocks to a commodity like water is a far leap, especially since there's no market to trade water. According to the United Nations, water use has grown at over twice the rate of the world's population increase in the last century, and it's projected that in less than a decade, the use of 30% of the world's total accessible renewable supply of water will reach 70% by 2025. With all that said, it's clear that there is a demand for fresh water, and Burry is one step ahead of everyone. Burry has been investing in water-rich farmland away from large governmental and infrastructure places. Burry has been investing in almond farmlands, which are very water reliant. During an era where almonds and almond products are seeing an increase in sales, research by Truscott states more than half of the profits of the world's biggest companies would be at risk if water was priced to reflect its true value. Purchasing water rights or investing in water-rich farmlands or water utilities might be just the next historic choice you can make alongside Michael Burry. As for the U.S. founding father, Benjamin Franklin once said, "When the well is dry, we know the worth of water." So here's the conclusion. The oracle responsible for calling the Great Depression of 2008 3 years earlier is once again predicting that a financial market crash is bound to happen in 2022 at the earliest. Burry now has an avenue to voice out his analysis and predictions to regular citizens of this impending disaster. He's not shied away from bold predictions in hopes to dissuade more people from investing now during a highly volatile market crash. Though nothing is set in stone, this may be Burry's first miss in a series of right calls. Only time will tell. We'll be thanking him for his warnings and truly call him a financial oracle, but on the off chance that he's mistaken, we'll be glad he's wrong. And that means that the economy and the market is at a much better place than we expected, and he expected. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, if you got value out of it, make sure that you leave a like down below by pressing the thumbs up button. Also, if you already haven't, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and press the little bell icon to turn on your notifications so you get notifications every time I post. Thanks for supporting the channel. See you in the next video.